while we're making enemies, why do you hate pit bulls so much?
Well,
Bro,
you
no
know,
one hates pit bulls more than Frank.
I
Why do you
didn't
hate
like
pit bulls?
them.
When you first
and then
moved to New York, did you live around a lot of Puerto Ricans or something? What?
A lot of DMX videos growing up.
you know, I was a huge Mike Vick fan growing up, and then all that happened.
Pit bulls took him away from you.
We missed his prime. 3 years of his prime.
Gave the pit
My God, how many MVPs would he have won? How many scrambling yards? How many walk-off
He was made
scrambles?
for today's game, goddammit.
I had a red authentic jersey when he
shit.
played for the Falcons. I
Greatest-
spent all my raking money. I would rake yards
Oh my
for my
gosh.
neighbors. I spent all that money on buying that jersey, and the moment I bought it, he went to prison.
Greatest video game character of all time. by
Yeah,
the way.
Madden was it
Mike Vick,
07 or something?
I think so.
Yeah, he
made the
cover.
The
Yeah, it was-
GOAT. Him and Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl, like the two most unstoppable
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
fucking video game players that ever
Yeah.
live or be made or whatever.
So the pit bulls take Mike Vick from you.
They take him, and then
Then you start to have a little disdain for these pit bulls.
And
You're
then
like,
I started reading the statistics, and it was pretty damning. And then
what are the statistics? Just to fill us in.
50, the Philadelphia Children's Hospital.
Oh my
I got this. I got this, bro. Are you a pit bull owner? Are there any pit bull owners in here?
If only you did this amount of research on another story.
Absolutely. At least then they'd be like, well, he's an asshole, but he did.
But
his
he's
research.
thorough. But
Yeah.
he's thorough.
Journalist, too.
Yeah.
He's a journalist, goddammit.
Yeah.
Doing his
But go on,
job.
Children's Hospital.
Philadelphia Children's Hospital
break?
did a study of all dog
Just hold it.
attacks
Just hold
on
it. Fuck it.
children for like a 7-year period from 1999 to 2006 or something.
Okay.
And of
No, I got
all
it,
the dog,
I got it, son. I got it. Yeah. Go on.
of all the violent dog attacks, 51% of them were from pit bulls. The next highest breed was Rottweilers at 14%.
Wow, that's a steep drop off.
And then it went to 6% at Dobermans,
Dobermans,
Dalmatians, whatever, down from there. It was so lopsided. And
How many golden retrievers or labs?
as far as I know, 0.
Wow, it's almost like
Those dogs are wonderful.
there's certain dogs that are bred to be nice and pets, and other dogs that are kind of bred to just eat people.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
children's faces.
Pit bulls.
And I had
It
blogged
depends
this.
how the pit bulls are raised, though.
Does it?
It does.
Dude.
It does. I've seen some cuddly ass pit bulls, bro. Like,
Yeah, well, here we go. Yeah, everyone can find a picture of an adorable pit bull.
Yeah.
How about you Google
like if you're
nightmare
training them
pit bull?
in the fucking
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Dog
go to
There
that.
you
one.
go.
Yeah, like,
That's the
come
pit
on.
bull
Now
I know.
just imagine a
Look at
9-year-old's
his fucking
face in
arms.
between
Holy
those teeth
shit.
right there.
Yeah. So fine. I wrote this blog after an emotional support pit bull attacked a young girl in the Portland, Oregon airport. And
That dog actually looks like
immediately
Julius Randle a
the
little
pit
bit.
bull lobby came after me, and they were more vicious than the dogs. And
I don't know about that.
it's hard to be, but they were threatening my life and all this. And then I'm not kidding you. 6 months later, my dad, my mom, and our 2 delightful yellow labs, Milu and Rosie, were walking down the dock at the marina for a picnic on our boat. And they passed a guy.
Time out.
Fucking
That is
goodness.
the whitest sentence ever
Oh
completed
my
in this entire
fucking
podcast.
goodness.
Well, it gets less
Nobody's
white.
feeling sorry for you after this.
Okay, so your mom and dad, who are still happily married,
Yep. 33 years.
33 years. You and who else?
And I wasn't there.
Okay.
And our 2 dogs,
Yeah.
Milu and Rosie, both yellow labs, and they're older yellow labs, 10 and 11, were walking happily down the dock, and there was a guy in his boat, and he had, I think, 2 pit bulls with him, and one of them jumped out of the boat, and the guy was like, "Wait!" But it was too late. And it latched onto Rosie's neck and
fuck.
bit down, and they couldn't get it detached. And Rosie didn't know what to do. She wasn't fighting back. She was being mauled. And my dad tried to push the dog off, and it bit him
boy.
through the webbing of his hand. So Rosie had 16 staples in her neck, and they had to put a drain in. My dad had to get stitches all through his hand. And it was almost like pit bulls had read my blog. Honestly, it was like, yeah, you're gonna say it about us? Well, we're gonna do exactly what you think we're gonna do, and they fucking killed my family. And I can show you guys the pictures of it. It was insane to me. It was so karmic, and so that just completely reaffirmed every thought I ever had about pit bulls, and that's why I don't like them.
So we should get rid of pit bulls, is what you're trying to say. Make them illegal to be pets.
It is look, I don't know where you guys stand on guns,
Yeah.
but it is exactly the same fucking argument that we have about guns. For sensible people, right? Sensible pit bull reform, okay?
Okay. I see where you're going with that.
Pit bulls,
good.
so many of the owners refuse to get them neutered or spayed, right? And in a lot of states, that's required. A lot of cities, I think it's New York, it is
New York is
required.
definitely one,
but a
yeah.
lot of these places, they don't do it. And something like some vast majority of the pit bulls that do commit these vicious attacks are unneutered, unspayed. And if you did that, you are lowering, especially with the males, you are lowering their testosterone and you are making them a lot more docile. And it's the same thing where it's like, okay, do we really need fucking people to be able to buy AK-47s and, semi-automatic assault rifles?
It's almost like somebody should have a fucking, like, a screening to be like, hey, you probably shouldn't have a fucking machine gun.
Right,
or
bump
maybe
stock load, like the high caliber, whatever, the huge magazines of bullets.
But do you think it's similar to a gun where, like, once you own one, you're like, oh, no, this is the shit?
It could be.
think
It could be. You want to hear? You know who's a huge fan of pit bulls?
Willie.
Girls. Wow. No.
Close?
It's women who jog at night.
Yeah,
It makes perfect sense.
for sure.
It's a
I
gun.
bet they're a big
Oh,
fan
yeah.
of guns, too.
There was an article
gun.
I wrote
Any
about.
girl who's not a fan of getting raped in a park is probably a fan of
And that's
having
most
a pit bull.
women.
Yeah.
Protection, yeah.
What
Yeah.
girl would not want protection as she's running at night?
Right.
What
Well,
about
why
the
would
women
you
who like
run
being
at
raped?
night?
No, I'm
Not
just
trying to blame you, but like of all the times you could run, why the fuck do it at night in Central Park?
the answer to that is that some women's work schedules only permit
you
them
go.
to run at night.
Oh yeah, what time are they waking up to work?
I don't know. Maybe they work 2 or 3 jobs.
A woman working 2 to 3 jobs. Are you out of your fucking mind?
There are a lot of single moms out there. I don't know where they are.
Ugly
My
is
mom
this girl you're
was great.
describing that she's working 2 to 3 jobs.
See,
Too ugly to get?
this would have gotten
Hey,
me
we're not
fired.
going there.
Wow.
Dude,
Holy
are you
shit.
A fourth job is what I'm
My
doing.
God.
Buddy.
But no, there's no way 2 to 3
God,
jobs.
this is going to be a rough
You know a
one.
girl has 2 to 3 jobs?
No.
Who has 2 to 3 jobs?
I don't know. I was just like, the other argument is like, well, why don't they run on a treadmill? And it's like, well, they shouldn't have to do that. The problem, of course, is with men who attack women who are jogging. And that's absolutely true. But having said that, like, because I covered this whole story
If
too.
I don't want to get hit on, I don't go into a gay bar. Now, it's not their fault. Now, yeah, maybe they shouldn't like sexually harass me by grabbing my butt. That being said, I'm increasing the proximity of my ass to guys who are going to grab it
How
by
many
walking
gay people
into the gay bar.
hit on you?
Say again?
How many gay people hit on
I'm
you?
just giving the hypothetical. Like, I'm,
not enough for
I was
me.
about to say.
I'm actually offended by how few.
now, the hypothetical I'm giving you is that I'm putting myself in a position where that could potentially happen. Simply
Unfortunately, Andrew, this does place the blame inherently on the women.
No, what it doesn't blame them for doing it. The action is always the person who commits the crime. What I'm saying is you're making a conscious choice to put yourself in a position where crimes get committed. For example, if I'm walking around with my brand new Ferrari and I'm leaving the keys in a bad neighborhood and it gets stolen, what do people say to me?
That was stupid of you. You shouldn't have done it. Right?
But are you victim blaming me for shouldn't I be allowed to park my car in any neighborhood I would like to park it?
Right.
No, my shit got stolen because I made a decision to park it in a neighborhood where shit gets stolen.
So your point is fair. In what I would add to it is that even as a man and a larger man, I would not run through a bad neighborhood at night. Gender be damned. It's irrelevant. Like, if you think that where you're running requires you to carry mace, don't
run.
do it.
Now, we're not victim blaming you. We're protecting you. We're trying to put, like, what would you tell your daughter? It's very simple. And I would ask women to do the same thing. What would you tell your daughter? Would you advise your daughter to run in the park at night? If you found out your daughter moved to New York City, right? You're about to have a daughter.
Yeah.
What would you tell her if she wants a little jog at night?
I got a treadmill at home.
Simple as that. Yeah. Why is it crazy when you give people advice that could
we
save their lives?
obviously we're people who think like us don't think like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we would love to live in the world where I can park my car wherever. A woman can wear whatever she wants, and there's no rapists. And but like, this is the world we live in.
Yes, we live in reality.
We live in a world where like these things happen, and we try our best to minimize damage.
And we also have to acknowledge, like, these people that are like rape and shit, these people are animals, right? They're not human beings, so they're not operating on the same empathetic level that we operate on, right? So what do you tell people when there are animals around? Very similar to this pit bull situation. Right? It's like,
hey, they're criminals. Like these are deranged people that will not abide by the structures of society.
So stop hoping that they will.
Right, exactly.
You're in a zoo.
You're in the fucking zoo. Yeah, so don't be surprised when the animals do fuck shit.